You've certainly heard this story about a mighty warrior who led Israel to victory. You've heard about the fleas, the trumpets, the broken jars, and the enemies fleeing in the night. You know how 300 men routed an army of thousands. You know the man. He is remembered as a judge, a deliverer, a hero. But what you may not know is the rest of this story. You see, the man in this story didn't start as a warrior. He wasn't a soldier, a general, or a bold man of action. In fact, when we first meet him, he's hiding. He was threshing wheat in a winepress, a depression on the ground so the enemy wouldn't see. He was afraid, tired, discouraged. His people were starving. Their land had been overrun. And God? Well, it seemed like God had gone silent. And then the angel of the Lord appeared, not with a sword, not with fire from heaven, just a quiet voice that said, "The Lord is with you, mighty man of valor." Mighty? He must have looked around and laughed. He answered, "Me? My clan is the weakest, and I am the least in my family." But God saw beyond what the man in this story saw. God didn't call him what the world called him. God saw more. You see, Gideon didn't become a hero overnight. He asked questions. He doubted. He tested. He laid out a fleece not once, but twice. And God patiently answered. When the time came to go to battle, Gideon started with 32,000 men, but God said, "That's too many." And he whittled it down to just 300. Why? Because God wanted Israel to know that he was their deliverer. And those 300? They didn't carry swords. They carried trumpets, torches, clay jars. And when they blew those trumpets and smashed those jars, the enemy turned on itself in confusion and fled. Victory without a single sword raised by Israel. Gideon's story reminds us that greatness doesn't start with strength. It starts with surrender. God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the call. You may feel small, unworthy, afraid, but God sees more in you than you see in yourself. I am reminded of what the Apostle Paul writes in 2 Corinthians when he says, "But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me." He doesn't need your power. He needs your obedience. And when you say yes, even in weakness, God will do the impossible with just 300, or maybe just one. And that one could be you. And now that you know the rest of this story, you have a story to tell.